In this video, I'm going to talk you through one of the options for making a cape from my child's dress-up cape pattern pack, which is available for free on my website at starttostitch.com. There's a variety of different options that you can make with this pattern. You can make a plain hoodless cape with a button closure, or a hooded cape. This one has a tie closure, but you could also use a button enclosure, or obviously you could make a hoodless cape with a tie closure if you wanted. The first thing you need to do is download the pattern pack from my website. The pattern pack includes templated pieces for the cape front. It also includes a template for the hood, and it also includes a template for a tie fastening if you don't want to use the a button or Velcro fastening on your cape, if you want to make your cape more traditional. There are also a number of shapes, template shapes for creating designs. So from the templates in the pack, you can make witches, wizards, superheroes, personalized superheroes, and anything else. There's also a mask shape as well. I'm going to make two separate videos to demonstrate this with two different capes. So it will depend very much on which what style you want to make. In today's video, I'm going to make a superhero cape without the tie fastening that's available. So it's going to be a button or Velcro fastening around the neck with no hood. It's going to be lined in the white satin and made out of the green satin. Both of these are available on eBay for about £2.99 a metre in the UK anyway. And you need 1 metre of each. So for the superhero, you're going to need these shapes as well: the lightning strike, the disc, a little bit of interfacing, and the mask template too. And the lightning strike and the disc and the mask are all made out of felt, which can be acquired pretty inexpensively. The first thing you need to do is cut your cape pieces. So I've cut two here, the main fabric and the lining fabric. You cut on a folded metre. It's designed to fit onto a 1 metre piece, and you just need one of each colour for the main cape piece. You also need to cut your motifs. So for me, for the superhero, that is the disc, which I'm going to do in a sparkly felt, a lightning strike, which I'm going to do in a yellow felt, and then two of the mask pieces in felt. And the other thing you need for this cape, because we're doing the button or Velcro fastening, is to cut two pieces of interfacing. Once you've cut your two cape pieces, you are going to stay stitch around the neckline of both of them, just roughly. You can always pull the stitching out afterwards. I've done it in a contrasting colour so that you can see what I've done. And also interface apply the interfacing to the outer layer, the main fabric, at the neck fastening, just to reinforce it. For anyone that doesn't know, stay stitching is just a line of stitching done usually on a sort of 3 to 4 millimetre stitch in order to stop these bias areas coming stretched, and it means you get a much neater finish on your curve around your neckline. Once you've done all of that, the next thing is to apply your design to the back of your cape. So you need to work out what your design is going to be, if you're doing your own or if you're using some of the templates that I've provided, and lay your cape out and place your pieces on in the place that you specifically want them to go. Now, lots of people applique in different ways. I'm just going to use a basic straight stitch on this, I think, rather than a zigzag. I'm just going to straight stitch these pieces on. but you can, because it's felt, it doesn't fray, so you can straight stitch. Some people could just glue on. You can use a dressmaker's glue to hold the pieces in place, but I prefer to use pins, and stitch on in the manner of your choosing. Once you've stitched your design on, it's a good idea to just give it a quick press on the reverse just to iron out any crinkles, and then to lay your cape flat, your cape front flat on the table in front of you, and to right side up, and to lay your lining then right side down on top of it. And you will want to pin it together very carefully around the neckline, along each square end and down each straight edge. Now, because this is a bias, you will need to ease this together and just make sure it lines up really nicely all the way along. It meets corner to corner. And then again from the bottom, along the bottom, again, there may be a bit of movement. You might find you need to trim it a little bit, but have a play and see how flat you can get it, and pin it all the way along to the notches. It's important that you leave this bit open so that you can pull your cape through. So once you've pinned the whole the two pieces together, you're going to stitch from the notch all the way round the neckline, careful around the neckline, around the two squares, down the other long side and back around to this notch here, and leave this area open. So here I am back with my stitched together cape. I've done a bit of trimming along the seam edges just where it wasn't lining up, just to neaten it up a little bit. The most important thing when you are laying these two pieces together is to make sure that the fabric is flat, and it lines up flat. You don't have to worry about lining up the edges. You know, there is natural movement in the fabric when you cut. So the main thing is that if it's lying flat on the table, it will hang flat when it's on a body. So if you find that there's a little bit of an odd overlap like here, then that's totally fine if you're using this kind of fabric, as long as the two pieces can be stitched together securely all the way around the edge. Once you have done that anyway, you need to clip your corners. So I'm just going to clip the corners of the two neck pieces like that, and also these pointy corners at the bottom of the cape like that, and also notch the neck curve. It's hard to fold because of the felt in the way, but I'm going to just quickly notch inside the neck curve so that that folds through really, really nicely, about every centimetre or so, being very careful not to cut your actual stitching of the two pieces. You can cut the stay stitching if you can tell the difference, but don't cut the actual stitching of the two pieces. Just put a few in here as well because this is a tight curve. And then you are going to pull the whole cape through this little gap that you've left at the bottom. So put your hand right up inside it and grab out the neck folding pieces, the overlap neck fastening pieces first. Just pull them down. Grab hold of them like that, slot them inside. Once you've done that, you can just grab hold of those inside the bag and turn the whole thing the right way round. So you can see your cape is nearly done. I'm just going to use the blunt end of my scissors up inside now, stick my hand back inside to poke out these sharp corners here. Just poke them out and make sure that it's all turned through. You could use a chopstick or a blunt pencil. You can also buy tools, specific tools for doing this, but I've only ever really used my scissors, to be honest. And there are techniques you can use for very, very sharp corners, but something like this, you don't need to worry about that. Once you've poked those through, and you have also poked these points through here on the corner of the cape, just using my finger for that quickly. This is less sharp, but you can use scissors. You need to do a really good press all the way around where you've seamed to get it nice and flat. And whilst you're there, you need to press these, the hole closed. So basically press the end, turn the ends in. Got an accidental notch in my green there, but I can cover that up. So just press the fabric down as a continuation of the seam line. Can you see what I mean? So there's the seam line here, and it ends here where my finger is pointing. You need to just continue that down as a fold so that it meets the other seam line at the other end, because what you're going to do is stitch that shut. So I've given it a good press all the way around. It's a bit of a hasty press, but it is a press nonetheless. You can see that makes a huge difference to the way it falls. And then here I've just pressed these seam allowances in, and I'm going to quickly pop a couple of pins in there, and then I will top stitch them or slip stitch them depending on what you feel like and how quick you need to be and how neat you need to be. I will top stitch or slip stitch them shut just along the bottom there. And then the final thing is to put your button or your Velcro on your neck fastening. You can also see here, this is where the stay stitching is showing. You can completely remove that now because it's done its purpose. So you can just pull that out, and that's one of the reasons why you would need to do that on a slightly longer stitch. So I'm going to pop a very quick buttonhole in here and a button on the other side, and then this particular cape will be finished. So here you go, your finished superhero cape with button neck fastening, applique detail on the back, and I've top stitched along the bottom there, and it's fully reversible. So you can see now that if you wanted to put another design on the white side or the lining side, you could, so that you had effectively had two capes in one, and you could retain the button fastening as it is and just stitch another, or you could stitch another button on the top on the reverse of that button so that it buttoned that way. I've got a loose thread there I need to trim, if you so wished. If you are interested in making this cape, as I said at the beginning, the pattern is downloadable from my website starttostitch.com, and I will link it in the comments. If you want to make this cape but you want to know how to add a hood and tie fastening, then there is another video on my channel which I will also link in the comments for you to be able to do that, making a hooded wizard's cape. This pattern also allows you to make variations in other cape styles. You could do a tie fastening without the hood. You could obviously just omit the hood. I have a version here that is for a little witch. It is a plain, there's no motif, it's just a plain black hooded cape with a tie front in purple and black for a little witch. I've actually made two of these for both of my daughters. This one is for my smallest daughter, who's 3, and she loves purple, and then I've made one with a red lining for my elder daughter, who's nearly 7. The same pattern fits both children absolutely fine. It's obviously just a bit shorter on the 7-year-old, but in terms of the hood fit and the neck fit, it's all absolutely fine. And then you could make a hoodless one, like this one, with no hood and a button fastening, and create a superhero. And again, you could make that fully reversible, or you could just keep the lining plain. So if you find yourself making fancy dress capes for your children, please do share them with me on social media. I'd love to see the pattern, the designs that you're making from the pattern pack that's on my website. Tag me at Start to Stitch, or join my Facebook group Kerno Social, also linked in the comments, to share your creations in there. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook too at Start to Stitch. And please also share this pattern with your sewing friends. I really, really, really hope that you enjoy making it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want more tutorials, and have fun with your sewing.